Iranian leaders while slamming his closest ally in the Middle East.
I'm not happy with the way Israel has handled themselves with Lebanon.
This is what angered him. Israeli strikes on Beirut Sunday aimed at rooting out Iran-backed Hezbollah fighters. The Iranians said the ongoing fighting in Lebanon could jeopardize their fragile new agreement with Trump.
Israel's fighting Hezbollah too long and too many people are being killed. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody.
But Israel's prime minister is vowing.
Yeah, I mean, you should have said that during Gaza, too. Like, you don't got to knock down a whole hospital to take out two Hamas guys. And no, that's literally what Israel does. I mean, even John Kiriakou, an ex-CIA agent, said the same thing. Like, the problem with Israel is that to take out two Hezbollah members, they will destroy an entire neighborhood. That's a problem. They did the same thing in Gaza. To take out a couple Hamas members, they'll take out schools, hospitals with people inside of it and think it's okay. It's like, yeah, that's the problem with these Israeli strikes. They involve more civilians than militants.
Going to keep forces in southern Lebanon as long as Hezbollah remains a threat. The struggle, he said, has not ended. Here on Lake Geneva, Trump is insisting his new agreement will prevent Iran from ever getting a nuclear weapon. But the document has not yet been released, and even some Republicans say they're withholding judgment.
I think we'd all like to see the terms of the memorandum and hopefully end up with a real deal.
With the Strait of Hormuz starting to reopen, the price of oil fell below $80 a barrel today for the first time in 3 months. But most shipping companies appear to be watching and waiting, despite Trump's assurances that it's safe.
Ships are starting to move now. We're going to have it fully open by Friday. The ships are starting to move nicely.
Trump says the Strait is going to reopen toll-free as it was before, but the Iranians are going to start charging new service fees.
Yeah.
Just one example of the many conflicts that remain, even though the fighting has stopped, Tony.
So, yep, Iran's going to open the Strait. We're going to go into a 60-day deliberation on their nuclear capabilities and further details to solidify the peace deal. And what Iran is saying that, well, guess what? We actually are going to start charging the toll, or, well, a toll sounds kind of harsh. They changed the tone of toll to pretty much, well, as she said, service fee. Oh, clever. But all right, guys, let's go to the next one here. Let's get into a PBD.
On Iran's playing.
Oh, guys, make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people into the conversation, and make sure to smash that like button as well. And if you have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, feel free to super chat it in or send it in a Venmo or PayPal. All right, let's get into it, guys.
Iranians are outside.
This is in LA, by the way, right?
This is I think it's in LA at SoFi Stadium. And you're seeing them screaming at each other in Farsi. If you don't speak Farsi, you want to understand what they're saying. Press that audio button on the bottom right, guys, before you press play. Thank you. Go forward. So she's wearing the IRGC flag.
Yeah.
This lady's wearing the IRGC flag. This lady. Of course. She's got her hair covered.
Got her hair covered, yeah. It's not very ladylike.
What? Adam, bro. Yo, Adam, shut the fuck up. You sound like a retard. Having your hair covered is unladylike, bro. Our women need to practice more modesty. Not Muslim level of modesty, but they do need to practice more modesty. I'm sorry, bro. Chill out. And here's the thing. I hate, once again, how they brought, and it's kind of crazy how MAGA was upset about how the left brought politics into the UFC fight, but they have no problem with, well, the right bringing politics into soccer. And that's what was killing me about it. It's like, yo, let these people be able to play without you guys harassing them. Like, you guys should really seen how they were freaking out over the Iranians. Like, when the Iranians did a shooting celebration, they was going like, see, they was aiming it towards Americans, when all soccer players does that shooting hand celebration. Like, it was absolutely insane. And it kind of shows how politics is low-key ruining sports.
But the other ones are, this one, they're wearing the Shahi, the Shah's flag. And they're calling them terrorists.
He's saying shame on you. Yes.
For what, though? Like, what did they do? Like I said, they're not the IRGC. They're not even like, bro, they have nothing really to do with this war. But like I said, these diaspora Iranians are upset because they're not getting their Shah, and they're also upset that pretty much Iran kind of basically won the war, and now we're about to help them restabilize their economy. Like, can you believe it?
Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame, shame. Like in Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones.
What they're doing is shameful.
By the way, this is FY. You can pause it right there. You can literally find thousands of clips like this of what happened at the game. John.
I don't know why she wore the flag. I mean, you're looking for...
Because it's her country's flag. Are you serious? See, and like, that's absolutely insane. Like, first off, it's the World Cup, dude, and that's her country's flag. Sorry, but the lion flag, the Iranian flag with the lion, that's not the Iranian flag. Sorry, guys. Your Shah got kicked out. The Islamic Revolution is still in there. The Islamic regime is still there. Sorry, but the flag that she's wearing is their actual flag. You guys wearing that flag with the lion on it, you're just upset because your Shah's not in power. Now you're going to sit there and harass people who have nothing to do with the IRGC. Like, that's pathetic. I'm sorry, but this makes me hate that little Iranian diaspora way more. Not only because they're complete monarchists, that goes against American values, by the way, but yet we support these dumbasses. But it's just like, bro, you're going out there and making us look bad. Like, we sat here and supported you guys through this war that didn't end up in our favor. And here you are, like, what? Getting mad at soccer fans? Harassing soccer fans? Like, okay.
You walking into a bull ring with a red cape around your back. I mean, she's looking for trouble in LA.
Yeah. And so that's the part where Iranians are sitting there saying, you promised us this, you promised us that. And if they have to choose between blaming Trump or blaming the sun, 9 out of 10 times, they're going to blame Trump. He's going to be a lot easier person to blame than to blame Reza Pahlavi. But that's kind of where they're at. If the president really wanted to place Reza Pahlavi, he could have done it. Why didn't he do it? You got to answer the question.
Because he couldn't do it, PBD. That's why. If Trump really wanted to put Reza Pahlavi in power, he would have to overthrow the current regime, a.k.a. put boots on the ground, PBD. Like, bro, are you retarded? I'm sorry, though. That's a bit mean. But, dog, you're speaking nonsense. Like, oh, he could have put a Reza Pahlavi in power. No, he couldn't, because then he'd have to put boots on the ground to effect regime change. And as you see, we'd rather give Iran $24 billion than do that.
The Iranian people that are pro Pahlavi, why didn't he do that?
But it might be harder than anybody thought. Look, what have we learned in these new wars? When they start wargaming the new wars, look at the Ukraine. I gave them like 2 months. We're going up on 5 years. Iran would have been a lot harder to take all the way down because the regime, if they lose, they're taken out into the streets and skinned alive. They're going to fight till the end. And so I think the lessons from these two wars, Ukraine and Iran, is it's not the same wars that we used to think about. And now you got these drones and you got these, Houthis and Hamas and Hezbollah, all with H's. I don't know why all H's, but it's a whole new game for warfare in the world. And now we're going to add AI onto that, which will be a whole nother consequence.
Does that benefit us or them? To be able to, because, spying is going to go to a whole different level with AI the next 5 to 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
Does spying benefit us? Like, will we be able to spy on them better than them on us? I'm talking specifically Iran.
Well, first of all, if I'm going to bet on spying, I'm always betting on Israel.
Yeah, I bet you are.
I
mean, bro, and if you haven't heard, the Pentagon raised Israel's spy level threat to an astounding orange. Yeah, orange. So Israel been trying to spy on our top officials and get information on where Trump is going with Iran because they don't like the direction. And I mean, I guess we know why now. And here's the thing, guys. You got to understand this. Trump reaching this peace deal is something that Israel don't want to happen. Mark Levin don't want it to happen. Ben Shapiro don't want it to happen. And a lot of people are going to be trying to shoot him in the foot over this. Honestly, they're trying to throw J.D. Vance out the window, or pretty much trying to throw him under the bus because he's pretty much the one that was vociferous about, him being against this war starting. And here's going to be the main problem, guys. They're going to take that blame away from Trump, who's pretty much the one approving the ceasefire, who's the one to approve the ceasefire, who's also going to be the one to approve this deal. And they're going to put it all on JD because they're too afraid to go after Trump. I mean, guys, let's be real. Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, Lindsey Graham, yeah, they're too afraid to go after Trump because Trump still has a strong hold on the Republican Party. But you know who doesn't? JD Vance. And this is why JD Vance has been making the rounds and defending this peace deal, because I'm going to be honest with you, he's the best person to do so. And he got to try to sell this to the American people. So, you know, the Lindsey Grahams and Mark Levin don't try to get this held up in Congress, which they are trying to do. But it most likely won't happen because, like I said, I mean, it's pretty hypocritical to stand by and not talk about Congress while we walked into the war. Oh, but now when we want to walk out, you want to talk about Congress. It's like, come on now, don't be hypocrites. Be consistent.
I just want to be. I want to lie. No,
they're the goats and spying.
They're the goats. They are the goats and spying.
There's college, there's pro, and there's Super Bowl.
There's the goats.
And so as long as we're in on their eavesdropping, we're in pretty good shape.
I just got to say, I've agreed with pretty much everything Mr. Morgan has said today. Probably the most important thing he said was, we have no idea how big and hard this deal is to even get done. Those two people who went to the Iran game were both rooting for Iran to win the game. Do you think there's any compromise with those two people on how they see the different flags of their country? One with the IRGC flag, one with the rising lion. Those people hate each other.
You better get over it.
Now multiply that to every other country in the region trying to get a deal done. Multiply that with Qatar, with Israel, with Turkey, all these different interests in America, Republicans, Democrats. Those two people, both Iranian, both Persian, hate each other, calling him a traitor, calling him shame, and they're rooting for the same team.
They are.
That's how hard this deal is.
You know, it's actually disgusting though. The problem is with the Iranian people with the line on there. Yeah, the Iranian diaspora. They were okay with watching their people get bombed. They were okay with that school with 100 girls getting bombed. They said, "Oh well, the price of war," and that's their own people they're talking about. So I'm sorry, but if you want to talk about traitor, it's them. It's them. It's not the people in Iran. It's the people outside Iran wishing death on the people inside of Iran. Those are the traitors.
A different idea.
The real.
No, I agree. Just like Republicans have a different ideology than the far leftists.
This is even bigger than that.
I agree with you.
Yeah, this is even
Sunni,
bigger.
Shia,
I was going to say, if you listen to him every time he ends, the real thing that President Trump wanted is he calls it the dust, the uranium,
the nuclear dust.
The nuclear dust. That's what it's all about. And the question is going to be the $300 billion question is going to be, do we get the dust for the dough? And if we don't get the dust for the dough, I think it's a bust.
I'll tell you one thing I know about Trump.
Here's the thing, we're giving them $12 billion just to sit down and talk. So we're already giving them the dough before the dust. So that's the terrible part about this deal. But it is what it is. All right, let's go to the next video here, and we're going to keep on PBD for a little bit. Then we're going to go right back into mainstream media. But I did want to cover these videos real quick. So shout out to PBD and them, even though I do disagree. But I do respect PBD. And guys, make sure to double tap that screen like the video, guys. Let's get more people in on the conversation. Bah, double tapping that screen. Appreciate the support, guys. Let's keep it going. Oh, yeah, like I said, if you want to support the show, super chat in, question, comment, joke, or disagreement, or PayPal or Venmo.
4th of July.
Yeah.
That's when they're doing it. You think it's accidental?
No, someone wants
when is 4th of July? What day is it on? When is 4th of July?
I think it's on a Friday.
So a weekend now.
Is it?
It's a weekend.
So maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe it's a coincidence.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like an accidental.
By the way, he was
coincident.
90 days ago. How long was he killed ago?
Yeah.
He's been on ice.
I mean, how long did he go?
Yeah, but they needed safety to be able to do the ceremony the way they're going to do it. They're probably going to do it pretty big. Can you guys do me a favor? Can you pull up the clip of what Vance said? Denies that Iran will receive billions of dollars of assets in the deal, because that's the kicker right there, right? Is it going to be just the frozen assets? The $300 billion is the real thing, and even though U.S. is brokering the deal, if I'm not mistaken, it's not $300 billion that taxpayers will be paying. I think it's an element of multiple different countries that are involved in that. Is this it, guys? About the money?
Yeah, and releasing frozen.
Okay, go for it. Go for it.
People say that billions of dollars of assets will be released. That's not true. What is true is that Iran will have a much better and much more prosperous future if they meet the obligations they make in this agreement. We'll, of course, see. That's one of the things we're going to work out in the technical talks that will follow the official signing on Friday.
Mr. Vice President, it's Ed O'Keefe, and we're so glad you're here in part because, as Republican Senator Lindsey Graham said yesterday, you are the architect of this deal. So let's walk through some of this. The Iranians are saying...
Wow. See, I told you, they're throwing him under the bus already, trying to say he's the architect of the deal. When the sad reality is that the reason why this deal is looking so good for Iran is because Iran had escalation dominance and they actually still got cards they can play. Like, guys, the reason why we can't keep resuming strikes on Iran is because Iran can pretty much destroy energy infrastructures throughout the Middle East, well, or really throughout the Gulf region. That's going to drive up, that was really going to start driving up oil prices. You were going to start seeing $10 a gallon at the pump, and that's something that nobody wants to deal with. But apparently Lindsey Graham and all these other warmongering dumbasses, they had the money for that, but Lord knows you didn't. That's why they're okay with the war. That's why they wanted it. No matter how bad it was going to get for Americans, they wanted to keep that escalation going. And that's the problem with Lindsey Graham and them, is that the problem is that we can affect regime change, but at what cost? Are you willing to throw away the entire Middle East just to get the IRGC out of power? Trust me, it's not worth it. And I mean, we tried, and now look at us. We're over here giving Iran billions of dollars. It looks like they're going to control the Strait of Hormuz, and we're lifting all sanctions off their oil and petrochemicals. We suspended all sanctions off Iran. I hope you know this. Like, Iran's going to be making billions of dollars starting, well, the next couple of days. Like, Jesus.
That they're going to have access to a $300 billion reconstruction fund. True or false?
Well, and that's the sort of thing they could have access to, funded by the Gulf Coast Coalition, so long as they honor their end of the obligation. I think that one of the things you're going to see, Ed, and people have to be skeptical of this, is that the hardliners in the Iranian system will overemphasize the benefits that Iran gets while underemphasizing all the things that they have to concede and all the things they have to provide in order to get these benefits. So we absolutely are open to the Gulf Coast countries investing in the reconstruction of Iran, but only if Iran ends their nuclear program, ends their enriched stockpile of material, and is really open to an inspections and enforcement regime that gives the American people confidence they're never going to have a nuclear weapon. So I think the dance you're going to see, Ed, which is going to be interesting, is the Iranian media, especially the hardline media, they're going to talk a lot about what they get without talking about what they give. It's important for all of us to correct that record.
Well,
pretty interesting.
Well, listen, one thing he didn't want to hear is you are the architect.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that is like, you know, this is
lawyer talk.
Lawyer talk, and this is presidential election talk, 2028. There, he's setting J.D. Vance up, or somebody is, for a big win or a big fall.
So this $300 billion is not reparations, just so you know. It's not a guarantee. No. Everybody wants to know who controls
it's money. A lot of, you're right, it's about a lot of release of frozen funds.
Apparently, Gulf states are going to be involved. Private investors are going to be involved. U.S.
So pretty much is to restabilize Iran's economy and for reconstruction. And they will be able to tap into $300 billion of it. So think about it like this. Iranian reconstruction companies, Iranian banks, and all this good stuff, they're all going to be revitalized through this $300 billion. And it's kind of funny because, remember, the IRGC is still in power. You got the Ayatollah still running the entire country. So are we pretty much enriching Iran? Which is absolutely insane because, I mean, bro, we went from talking about destroying the civilization to pretty much now enriching the civilization, which is, I mean, I ain't really tripping about. I'd rather enrich than destroy, but this is quite the change of tone.
Going to be involved. It's not a check wire. We're handing it to you. Go do whatever you want to do. There are certain things that they could do to screw up even getting the money. But Tom, your thoughts. What else do you know about this $300 billion?
Well, I love the line that's in the 14 points. While ensuring a financing of at least $300 billion agreed upon by both parties for the rehabilitation and economic development of the Islamic Republic of Iran, together with regional partners to create a comprehensive plan that will be formulated within 60 days. They're saying financing. They're not saying that this is more pallets like Obama sent over there. They're talking about Gulf states. So
Yeah, but here's a problem. They're financing the IRGC, which you guys have been fear-mongering on, calling them irrational, crazy. If they get all this money, all they're gonna do is just boost up their proxies and missiles, which most likely they will do. But I mean, bro, you're trying to act like the money isn't going directly into our Iranian companies that are controlled by the IRGC. Let's not play stupid here. Like, we understand that the theocracy of Iran pretty much controls well, a good amount of their industries. So yeah, that $300 billion is going straight into their pockets. Like, bruh, we're gonna have the IRGC getting paid for reconstruction.
Let me just make it really simple. Do you remember everybody was upset when Dick Cheney, the United States, arranged for Halliburton to go back and rebuild Iraq?
Weird.
Well, now it's all the little Halliburtons that are in the Gulf states. They're all going to get their piece of the pie. And guess what? Iran can pay for it with oil. And so they're saying, Pat, it's a $300 million financing. A lot of other countries will be involved. And so it's not pallets of cash the way Obama did previously.
And what you hope, since Trump is a construction guy, the way you build buildings is you meet certain thresholds and then you get certain draws. You don't just get the money up front if you want to be bonded. You meet certain thresholds and then you get a draw and then a draw and a draw.
You know that's how it's going to be.
I would think. Listen, Trump is a construction. That's his business.
That's right.
And so he's used construction throughout his presidency, and I can't imagine him rebuilding anything without certain thresholds and construction like draws. And I think one of those draws is going to be the dust.
Yeah, and by the way, that the key in there is you don't get any of the. So one, the Hormuz has to stay open. You cannot do anything. You have to agree to the terms. And if you don't release the enriched uranium that Trump said U.S. needs to see it, I don't want to have another country see it. I want to see it. If that doesn't happen, you're not getting that set up in place to be able to help you out. None of that's going to be taking place, Adam.
Hopefully,
I agree.
My opinion, they're never going to see that $300 billion. They could have called it 18 trillion gazillion. They're never going to see that money. Why? Because it's all predicated on if they change their behavior or not. Remember in 2016, we all learned the word quid pro quo. It's a quid pro quo.
Yep.
This entire deal is based on the premise that they're going to be rewarded for good behavior. So Iran.
Well, the $300 billion is based on the premise that they'll be rewarded for good behavior. Remember, they say it's a fund they can tap into, aka they play along, they'll get something. But the $24 billion in sanction relief, 12 before the talks and 12 after. Yeah, that 12 before the talks is pretty much just them agreeing to sit down at the table. So that's what also a lot of people are getting pissed off at as well.
On the biggest terrorist regime in the world, the smelly kid on the playground is just going to overnight be like, we want to be friends with everybody. There's no chance that's going to happen. So whether this is 300 billion or 300 gazillion, they're never going to see this money because they're not going to change the behavior. It's great for marketing. Trump
here's the thing though. What behavior are we asking them to change? No, really think about that. What behavior are we asking them to change? What? Don't go towards nuke? Like, they already wasn't doing that. I mean, if that's all we're expecting, then they're about to get that 300 billion. So it all depends. Like, what behavior are they talking about that Iran needs to follow? Because to be quite honest with you, I mean, if we don't give it to them, they'll just close the strait again. And it's been proven that we can't get them to open it up. We can't do it by military force, or we wouldn't be here making a deal. So I don't think he even thought that all the way through.
Amazing job on his birthday cutting this deal. We all know that once midterms is done, I don't think Iran is going anywhere. We'll probably be re-engaged with Iran after midterm.
If you are a father.
Yeah, I'm sure you want that, Vinny. I am sure you want that. But all right, guys, let's go to JD Vance over here on The View, man. And we got about over 100 y'all in here, man. Do me a favor.